Hi friends, welcome back to the Scrap Zone. I'm Julie. In today's video, I'm going to share with you a few fun birthday cards. Now let's dive right in. First, when I create cards that have intricate pieces, I like to keep them on my Cricut mat. You can see here that there's a lot of tiny pieces, like where's that eye? Oh, here it is. All right, so I'm going to keep all of those pieces tacked down so I don't lose track of them. We're going to have fun here with Distress watercolor cardstock and a few Distress Oxide inks. Now, all of these cards are pretty much the same. They've got a really cool distress background and then a nice silhouette. So the first one I'm going to tackle is this dolphin card right here. And I've sped up the ink blending because I'm sure you all know how to do that. I've started at the bottom with Chipped Sapphire. I followed through with Mermaid Lagoon, and then right up here at the top I'm going to add a little bit of Peacock Feathers. Actually, a lot of Peacock Feathers. And you can see that the blend between those inks is really, really pretty. So the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to add a little bit of water splatters. Now this has not been sped up because I want you to appreciate the time it takes for the water to react to the ink and do its magic. It really is magical. So I'm just going to let it sit here, and you can almost see it through the video here that the color is really changing from the background, or at least I hope you can see it. So I'm just going to pick up the water, just put a paper towel right here. I'm going to rub all of that off. Isn't that cool? I think that that looks really, really neat. So I'm going to set that aside and I'm going to let it dry, and I'm going to move on to the next card right here, which is a Tinkerbell inspired card. I'm going to bring in some mowed lawn, and I'm going to start that from the center, and I'm going to radiate that out. I think that that's going to look really, really nice. So again, I'm going right in the center of the card, and I'm going to add that mowed lawn, which is a really nice, vibrant green. And again, I've sped this up. I wish I could blend this quickly, but no, I cannot. And I'm going back and forth between the two colors at this point. So the Peacock Feathers, and then I'm just going to touch the corners of the card with the Mermaid Lagoon. And I think that that looks really, really nice. I'm going to do that same technique where I'm going to spray the card with water, and I'm going to let it do its thing. So you do have to wait a tiny little bit. I'm going to make sure that I don't contaminate my panel, so I'm going to flip that to a clean side, and then I'm going to pull this off. Isn't that pretty? Like, it's so easy and it looks really, really good. So this next one here, I'm going to run the colors from blue to purple because I want to have like a little bit of variation between the sun and the water if you want. So I'm adding the Mermaid Lagoon, the Peacock Feathers, and then right here, this is, I think it's Seedless Preserve. And then I'm going to make sure to wipe down my surface when I come in with the yellow because I don't want to contaminate that just yet. And I'm going to go ahead here and I'm just going to blend, blend, blend. And it probably looks like a hot mess right now, and it kind of does, but give it a minute and you will see that it turns out really, really nice at the end. I also opened up my little spray bottle here and I tapped a little bit on the side to get bigger splatters, and you'll see how it turns out when I pull off the paper towel right here. So those big drops were from me just pulling the straw out of my spray bottle and tapping to the side. But I felt that it was a little bit too much, so then I'm just going to mist it a little bit with more water. And we're going to just soak that up one more time. So the fun thing about Distress Oxide inks, as you know, you can play with them, and it's not a one and done. Like, you have to take your time and experiment with it. And basically here, I was just playing with the colors and I was having a grand old time. So let's clean off the surface. And this last one here is probably the most dramatic. So we're gonna go right in the center with Candied Apple. And then we're going to add some black soot all around. And again, when I first started, I'm like, oh, is this going to blend? Give it a minute and it will blend. The secret is to going back in between the two colors and then really blending them into each other. So you can see here the transformation. It looks really, really neat. I'm going to go ahead here and complete that front panel, and I'm going to add some water just like all of the other ones. And I'm lightly misting this one, but you know what? It splatters. You really can't control them all that much. But I think that it turns out really nice. We're going to do a little bit more, just like a mist. So you can see that I'm doing all of these in layers. So you either build up on the color or you build down if you want, removing the color with water. So it's not done in one clean swoop. It takes a few steps. I think I really like this one. Yeah, no, that's going to work. That looks pretty cool. All right. Let's clean off our mess. So that is step one for the backgrounds. And now I'm just going to go over the edges with the sponge tool right here and just add a little bit of black. Now, all of the cards are the same concept if you want. It's a silhouette that is done in black, and then it's matted on a pretty funky background, I would say. And they're all top folding cards. So I'm just going to go ahead here and fold my A2 card. I'm going to use my bone folder to create a really nice crease. And then I'm going to add my panels to my black cardstock. So everything has been sized down 1/4 inch to give you those nice little borders. So I'm going to flip that over, make sure everything is nice and secure. And I do like to add a block or something, add a book or anything that you have, just to make sure that it dries nice and flat. And I created this here as well, the little happy birthday. There's a little shadow. So this was a piece of vellum, but it kind of had a little kind of sparkly, I don't know, it's not transparent, like you'll see when I bring it up. And I'm gonna pick my happy birthday one by one. I'm not gonna make you watch it all, but you can see how handy it is to keep it on the mat. And then here I'm trying to show you a close-up of that. It wasn't vellum paper, it was something I had in my stash. I honestly don't know what it is, but it was perfect for these cards. So I was almost ready to assemble the cards. These are the nice shadow pieces or silhouettes. And then I thought, you know what? I think I want to add some gloss spray. Now let me know if you think I've gone too far, because it was one of these play days where I could have stopped at any time. I could have stopped right there and that background looks awesome. But I decided, okay, let's add a little bit of white splatters. So I'm going to shake that bottle up, and you have to make sure you hear that little ball inside, and once it starts moving, you're ready to go. And I'm just going to add a little bit of white, not a lot. This was just like one pump and now two. And at this point in the process, I thought, oh, did I overdo it? Oh, I don't think so. Well, we've committed, so let's do it to all of them. So I'm going to do the same thing here. Added that little white. It gives it that nice little mist. And this one here is for the dolphin. So I'm going to add a little bit more. Ooh, oh, that was really close. But you know what? Once you have everything put together, even if your splatters or your pumps are not exactly where you want them, it really doesn't show in the end. So this is what they look like with white. And remember I told you I was having a bit of a play day, so I decided to add a little bit of clear shimmer splatters. And look at that. Isn't that cool? Oh my gosh, I hope you can see the splatters and the shimmer on these cards, because in real life they are fabulous. And I really, really love the way they turned out. Now, it was meant to be a magical background, so that's why I kind of went maybe a little overboard, but you know what? I do like the way that they turned out. So for all of the silhouettes that I'm adding to the front, I'm just using Tombow glue, just a tiny little bit, and that way I can make sure that I've got enough space for the sentiment and the little silhouette here. And right here I'm showing you that it is sort of a vellum, that clear piece, so I'm just putting the glue right in back of the black alphabet line so that it doesn't show from the front. All right, so that's card number 1. I think he looks pretty good. I think I'm going to do something with that heart. Not sure yet. So basically, now that I'm assembling the cards, I'm kind of going in the reverse order from more difficult to easiest. This little mermaid here comes in a few pieces. And you see now that I add the silhouette, that messy background looks really, really good. So I'm going to pop her right here at the top. And then the bottom is a separate piece. So I'm going to add that into the water. I think that it looks really, really nice. And remember my Cricut mat where I keep all of the pieces? Well, there's a few pieces that I need to add to this one right here. Again, I could keep it just the way it is. So I've kept the negative piece right here. I'm going to pop that right back in the center. And then I'm going to go back to my mat, and I've got all of those kind of little inside pieces. Now they are very, very small, and you could skip this part if you want, but I felt that it gave more definition to her little body and silhouette. So I'm going to pop those in, and you'll see that, well, I do think that it does make a difference. So let's pop that underneath her fin, and then these tiny little pieces, definitely you need tweezers for this part, but I think in the end you'll see it looks pretty good. So these cards were made for young adults that are still Disney fans, and their grandma asked me if I could make cards, and I said, well, sure I can, but can I make them the way I want? Do I have leeway as to how they're going to look? And she said, oh, I've seen your work. I'm sure you can do something really cute. So I didn't want to do cutesy cards. I wanted them to be a little bit more elevated. And I think that they are. I think that they turned out really, really nice. So see those inside pieces? I do think it makes a difference. All right, so we're in the home stretch. We are going to finish this cute dolphin here. He was pretty easy to put together with that happy birthday. And that black cardstock is actually black ore, and it's got a little bit of a shimmer to it as well. So I'm not sure if the camera is picking up on that, but it looks really, really nice. So here are the completed cards. So you've got 4 of them. And of course I wanted to add just a little bit more. So I'm going to add a few little clear sparkles here and there. Not too much. You really don't need to over embellish. And for this guy here, I thought, you know what? I'll pull out my liquid glass and just add liquid glass in the center. So once it's all nice and dry, it will kind of shimmer, or it'll be quite bright. Unfortunately, I didn't get a picture of that close up right before giving them away, but I'm sure you can imagine what it looks like. So here are the completed cards. I hope that you've enjoyed how all of them came together. And if you like what you see here, don't forget to subscribe and come back soon. Have yourself a fantastic day.